When I think about you, I touch myself. Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. John here with another Yu-Gi-Oh video. This one's pretty strict discussion video, just kind of a what's going on, Konami? What are you doing? Kind of video. And I haven't really seen anything like this in a while. Like, you see a lot of what's going on Konami videos, but nothing like this. It's always like, treat your players better, bring the prices down, or like, don't make secret rares for all of the danger cards, whatever, you know, that kind of thing. But this is something different. This is like a bigger picture type situation with this. As you can see, we have all the attributes for Yu-Gi-Oh listed here: fire, water, earth, wind. The elementals, I like to call them, like the avatar elementals. And then light and dark, obviously. And then divine, and then trap and speller in this picture. I just couldn't find a different picture, and I was like, good enough. Traps and spells are in the game. Whatever. That's not important. I just need a background so I could talk about this. So today I went through and I looked at some numbers, some really interesting numbers for all of the attributes in Yu-Gi-Oh! At least the main 6, not really divine, because there's like 5 divine cards. I don't even know how many. It's like less than 5. But there's some really interesting numbers that I want to throw at you guys, and I just want to put this out there because I think it's like, it kind of irks me, and I wonder if it irks other people too. So the first thing is, I went through and I counted how many archetypes exist, like strictly to certain attributes, if that makes sense, right? So literally, like, it'd have to be an attribute that is like strict to light, strict to dark, strict to fire, strict to water, strict to wind, strict to earth. And if they had like separate, if it was an archetype that has like multiple monsters of different attributes from each one, then I didn't count it at all. It had to be strict. So, and I counted the totals, right? So the first one is like dark. Obviously, there's 30. I counted 31. I mean, I might be off here and there, but because there was no list online, I had to just go through an entire list of all the archetypes and count them myself. So like dark, I counted 31. I may be off here and there by 1 or 2, but generally these are pretty good numbers here. So dark 31, it's the most represented one. It just is by nature the most. It's like anything that has any sort of dark, mysterious connotations, it ends up being dark most of the time. Then, to my surprise, actually, was Earth. There's 20. I counted 28 Earth archetypes, and this actually surprised me a lot. Not too much, but I thought light would be second, just by the nature of light and dark, just because they're kind of just generic. If nothing really fits the other one, anything kind of evil would be dark. Anything that shows any kind of like good, or like, I don't know if good is the word, but I guess anything that seems like for justice or good, I guess good works, whatever, would fall under light, and that's what happened. So, but 28 for Earth. And this kind of surprised me, but I knew Earth would be bigger than fire, water, and wind. I just didn't know by this much. And I guess it makes sense when I think about it, because Earth is kind of falls into this category where like fire, water, and wind are like pretty specific. Like, you either have to be like something relative to the air, something relative to water, or something relative to like fire specifically to ever fall into those. And then if you just like don't really fall into any of those, and you're not particularly good, or you're not particularly evil, you won't fall into light or dark, so you just end up in Earth. There's a reason why like half of all like warrior monsters are Earth. And it's for that reason, is because it'll be like a warrior card that's like it doesn't seem particularly good, not particularly evil, and it's not really fiery, watery, or windy. So it just ends up in Earth, and that's how a lot of cards end up in Earth, and we have so many here. So 28 Earth, 25 light, we expected this, and then fire, water, and wind, 13, 13, and 14. 14 for fire, and then 13 for both wind and water. Insanely low numbers, I feel like. Literally all of them are exactly half or less than half of just Earth. Not even dark. Dark's the most represented one. Earth had 28, and these had 14 and 13. And that just blew me away reading this. Actually, one, I thought water would be higher, but I guess it was kind of like a false sense of security with, like, we have some like very, very delved into water archetypes. You know, we have mermaids, we have frog paleos, we have Atlantean. So like with some very explored water archetypes, it made it feel like there was more, but really there's just not that many. There's just some very explored ones. Fire fires, there's just not much to say. There's just not a lot going on for fire, and even less for wind. Wind is easily the I feel like the most rejected attribute in Yu-Gi-Oh by far, and not just by number, but there's like other things too. So that surprised me well. And then after that, I actually looked up just straight up how many cards, how many monsters period there are for each type. And this is main deck only because extra decks are weird and I didn't want to include those. Main deck strictly, we have almost 1,200 for dark, almost 1,100 for earth, 901 for light, 413 for wind, and then 396 and 347 for water and fire, respectively. That is crazy. There is over 3 times as many dark monsters as there are for water and fire, and almost wind too. So like all 3, you can just put them in the same category. That's crazy to me. There's over twice as many for earth. There's over twice as many for light. So like, why? I feel like if you're a company like Konami, you go like, yeah, we do have so many more of these. I feel like just to compensate, you would try to force more cards that end up falling into these categories to kind of just compensate for like the natural way that they're going to end up falling behind in. And I don't know, I just figured they would. I thought like maybe like doing a really cool, like doing a particular like mini set that is like fits strictly for these attributes, like a mini set. So like normal sets usually have like 100 new cards, maybe a little bit more, but like a new set's like a mini set. So let's say 50 new cards come out, and it's literally like 30 new wind monsters and a couple spells and like generic spells and traps, like just for wind in general, or winged beasts or whatever. Like particularly, just give older archetypes that are wind more support. Why not? It'd be a perfect set for like where Harpies would fit. I mean, we already know where the Harpy support's coming in, but if you wanted to make like Mecha Phantom Beast support, more Dragoonity support, FAs, this is where you could do it. And just come up with new cards as well. So I don't know. I think that'd be cool. They call it like Tempest Wind Rush, Butt Wind. I don't know. Stupid, but that's stupid. But still, like they could do the same thing for fire, same thing for water. Their own mini sets, and they could slide them in between full sets that are coming out as well, because they're mini sets. So like they can kind of just throw them in, just kind of like how the deck build packs kind of get thrown in around the real like big sets. And then the other thing I wanted to look at was like for meta decks, current meta decks, how many of those like fit into like actual attributes here. So like obviously we have a bunch here that don't really fit into one attribute. We have like Sky Striker. The only main deck monster is Ray, and then the extra deck is fire, water, wind. So doesn't work there. Altergeist, all the main deck Altergeist are different attributes. Can't use those. Dracos are fire, water, wind. Can't use those. Thunder Dragon are literally half light, half dark. Can't use that. Mech Knight Invoked. Alistair is dark, and all the Mech Knights are light. And then the extra deck is all different attributes, so I don't think they fit in anyone. And then Spiral is like wind, earth, light, and dark, like a combination of all of those. But outside of those, we have Gokis and Gem Knights, and I did like the top like 12 meta decks. I felt like right now, possibly, whatever, because like after like the top like 6 or 7, it's kind of like you kind of interchange a bunch of them. But for these, I have Goki and Gem Knight for Earth. 2 Earths, okay, second most represented one. Trick Stars and Cyber Dragons for lights. Cool, yep, got it. BA and Danger for dark. Most represented one, cool. And then Frogs. Paleo Frogs are the only water attribute, no fire attribute deck insight, no wind attribute deck insight, not even close. Like wind is not even close, and fire has a couple, I guess, that you could say like zombies are getting a bunch of new support in the upcoming months. So Shirin Nui, maybe that's a fire attribute deck here, but even if you built like a full deck, like Shirin Nui is just an engine that goes in a zombie deck, so you end up with like Mizukis and Unis and a bunch of dark and earth attributes, so like it doesn't even end up being fire. Metal Foes, we've seen this year Metal Foes be very relevant competitively. We'll see if they still are. I mean, ever. Infernoid is really like the only other one, and Infernoid's been around for a long time, but they haven't been like super relevant. They haven't been here for a long time. They've been kind of like here, and like if you're not ready for them, they can explode and like just ruin your day. But like wind has nothing. Absolutely nothing. Like Yosenju is like a very rogue strategy. Ritual beasts are very rogue. They had their time, but they've been phased out now. Magispecters had their time, but without Kieran, like they're not really doing anything. And we've seen them be splashed in the Pendulum deck in the last couple months, but like the Pendulum deck hasn't really been doing anything in the last couple months. And Harpers are getting new support. FAs too, I guess, and Dragoonity, but like nothing competitive really. I mean, Harpies, we'll see if they get more support, a Link Monster or whatever, and if that can really push them up to competitive status. But like almost nothing in Wind that's even like remotely competitive at the moment. And it's actually crazy to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think Konami needs to give more love to these three attributes. Or maybe I'm a big dumb idiot and you love Light, Dark, and Earth, and you don't even care. You don't care at all about any fire, wind, or water attributes. So let me know. And subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh videos, guys. My name's John. Thank you so much for watching this video, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Dudes. Lady dudes.